Hello, and welcome to Church at Home with Rachel for Wednesday, the 15th of March. Yeah, it's the 15th of March, the Ides of March. I think that is from Julius Caesar. Could be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Um, well, a while back, I was reading this book, Max Lucado, Safe in the Shepherd's Arms. I think it was sent to me by Kim. Thank you, Kim. This is a gift that keeps on giving, this book. There's so much in it. And at the back of the book, after it talks about the 23rd Psalm, it has these like daily, um, there's 30 different devotions. And this one's called Looking for Real Change. Create in me a new clean heart, O God. Psalm 51, verse 10. And he says, ever blame life's problems on the issues and circumstances of the day? What about trying to resolve them? No matter if it's business or more personally related, consider the prayer of David, create in me a new heart, O God. Real change is an inside job. You might alter things in a day or two with money and systems, but the heart of the matter is and will always be a matter of the heart. A problem is no more a challenge to God than a twig is to an elephant. Oh, I love that. A challenge is a problem is no more a challenge to God than a twig is to an elephant. I need to remember that. That's incredible. Um, lately, I've been I've been really busy, stressed, not stressed in a bad way. Like stress is always stress. Like, things are busy. You get good news, you get bad news. It's good stress, bad stress. Weddings are stress. If you ever do one of those stress tests, if you've moved in the last year, you get yourself 10 points. If you've had a baby, you get like 1,000 points. You get married, there's 20 points, things like that. If you've lost your job, things like that, and you can sort of gauge what your stress level is supposed to be. And I think it's like if you gauge this much, like if you're over 50 or 75 or something, then you're mildly stressed. And if you're like 200, then you need to, change things. The fact is, everybody has stress. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. I've had lots of stress lately, lots of busyness. Getting ready for Easter. We're in Lent. Bishop is coming on Sunday and the next Sunday at my other church. There's lots of things going on, and it's good stuff. It's good stuff. But at the end of the day, you're like totally tired. And part of my stress and part of my having lots of meetings in the evenings is I don't eat at the right times, and I don't necessarily eat the right things sometimes. And my sugars, I'm type 2 diabetic, and my sugars have been kind of wonky lately. And yesterday, I took my sugars in the morning and it was too high. Now, I ate not a good supper late at night, the night before, and I took my sugars first thing in the morning, and stress always increases my numbers, and then so it was high. So I went downstairs, I walked in the elliptical, I said my daily off. So I thought before I eat my breakfast, I'm gonna try my numbers again. And they were higher. And it freaked me out all day. I checked my numbers all through the day just to, see what was happening. Um, but I found that when I was trying to do my work, all I could think about was my numbers, how big my numbers were. And I was trying to like eat as little as possible to bring my numbers down. And then thinking later, it's like, no, it's not what the point. It's what you eat. You still have to eat. Even if your numbers are high, you still have to eat proper things. Your body still needs carbs to be able to work. Things like that. And, and trying hard and realizing that my stress, this thing was bothering me all day long. I couldn't think of anything else. I'm on the phone with someone whose house is burned down, and I'm freaking out because I'm thinking in the back of my head, this is going on, and I'm listening to her and I'm paying attention to her, but in the back of my head, my problems are floating around in there. And it's like, "Ah, no, 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 you gotta let it go. There are things that change. Create in me a new heart, oh God. When I when I remember that, create in me a new heart, oh God, it's not about saying to God, okay, God, make my numbers better, make my sugars better, or make my headache go away, or whatever's, take away all my appointments for a week. Make all these outside things go away, God. It's not about that. It's about looking inside. And instead of panicking because my sugar numbers are high, what am I doing? Am I getting exercise? Yep. Am I getting enough sleep? No, but I can work on that. Am I taking all my medications at the right times? Yep, I am. So I'm giving myself the best boost I can. Am I watching what I'm eating? I can do better. So I can work on that. Once I put into place all those things on the outside that impact this, what else can I do? I can stop stressing about it. I can stop worrying about it. Worrying about it will probably only make the numbers worse. But worrying about it changes nothing. Nothing. It changes nothing. What I need to do is have asked God to create a clean heart within me, a new heart within me. That my focus, regardless of what those numbers might be, I am still called, regardless of my health, I am still called to be a faithful priest. I'm still called to pray. I'm still called, and part of that is to pray for myself, to realize that when I'm stressed, when I'm like worked up because everything else around me, a woman's house is burned down, or somebody else has been diagnosed with cancer, or something over here is going wrong, or I've got too many meetings and too many church services and not enough time to write sermons. I need to slow down and remember that those are outward things, that God is still in the lives of all those people. I am not God. It is not up to me to fix all those problems. It is up to me to allow God to work through me if I am to be part of the process, part of the help that is offered. But I need to recognize that before I can help anyone else, I need a clean heart within me. Ever blame life's problems on the issues and circumstances of the day? Yeah, I have been. What about trying to resolve them? I'm trying. No matter if it's business or if it's more personally related, consider the prayer of David, create in me a new heart, O God. Real change is an inside job. That's really true. Yes, all the stuff around my numbers, my sugar numbers can be fixed if I do the inside work. They aren't going to be fixed overnight though. And I need to calm down about that and ask God to create within me a new heart. One that reminds me that the decisions that I'm making, what are those decisions? Do I need to take some time off? Do I need to build into my schedule, dinner time? Like literally right in, make and eat dinner, or get Rob to make dinner and I'll eat it from 6 to 7 p.m. or something like that. What are those things that I can start saying, okay, God, where do you see a twig? Where I see a forest? So many times in my own life and in lives of people that I have known and loved and cared for, we have worked away. We've talked about these things that are so big, they're so difficult. And and when we take time to take a deep breath and say a prayer and say, okay, God, open our eyes that we might see through your eyes, that we might see the truth of what you're sharing with us. When we do that, it hasn't magically erased all the problems. But what it does, it helps us to see things from a different perspective, kind of like cleaning my glasses. I can now see things a little bit, certainly never through God's eyes completely, but a little bit more clarity of understanding what it is that God sees. God can see a broken down body that's working really hard and needs a break. But God also sees a heart that is truly wants to serve and a heart that rejoices in being able to serve. God sees the possibilities of what this world offers. When I look at that forest of big, massive California redwood trees that have been there for 2,000 years and I couldn't put my arms around them, and I'm so worried about these massive things that are right here in front of me, God is like that elephant who looks at that and says, that's just a twig. It's really not that big a problem. You just have to look at it from a different perspective. And the truth is that that's what we can do with all of our problems. Sometimes they are big and they will be involved and they won't be fixed overnight, like me turning a new leaf, allowing God to create in me a new heart, which takes better care of myself physically. And by the way, if my mom is watching, I am fine. I'm doing okay. No big deal. Just a little blip. But what I need to do is I need to slow down and take a look from God's perspective. Is this a massive redwood in front of me that I'm trying to break down with my own arms? Or is this just a twig for an elephant that could just pick it up and doesn't even need to break it, just pick it up and move it out of the way? Really, when we allow God to look inside us, to change our hearts, we see things from a new perspective, and we are able to recognize that the things that are so big and mighty and all-consuming for us, in the grand scheme of God's vision, in the grand scheme of our lives, they're not that big. They are important, but they're not that overwhelming. We just need to slow down and take a breath and remember and say, as David said, "Create in me a new, clean heart, O God." And remember, a problem is no more a challenge to God than a twig is to an elephant. Have a great day, everybody, and I will see you again tomorrow for Church at Home with Rachel.